I am proud to say that today is the 9-year anniversary of the Company Man YouTube channel, an occasion worth celebrating if I've ever seen one. We need confetti and fireworks and anything else colorful. I don't know if anyone creates a YouTube channel expecting it to be such a big part of their lives for so many years, but I am thankful for it. Just to give you an idea of how long that is, when I started this channel, the President of the United States was Donald Trump. Alright, I guess that wasn't the best example, but it is a long time. And I know that none of it would be possible without the thousands of people who continue to come back to the channel each week. It's kind of hard to make that sound genuine and heartfelt because I hear so many other people say that, but it is a cliche for a reason. So right up front, I want to make sure that I give a well-deserved thank you to everybody here, and maybe even a bigger thank you to anyone who has been here through most of those 9 years. I know that YouTube hits you with a lot of recommendations, many of them from bigger, more professional channels that cover similar subjects, so it truly means a lot to me that you continue to come back here. This is a great community, and I'm proud to have you all here as part of this celebration. I don't think it's possible to overstate my appreciation, but I do have to move along with the video here, so just please know that I mean it. I want to give some updates about the state of the channel, which isn't great. For a while now, the channel has been getting about half as many new subscribers as the previous year, which I know looks bad when you see it on a graph like that, but keep in mind, we still gained almost 17,000 new subscribers, which I hope you'll agree is not too shabby for the 9th year of a YouTube channel. Honestly, 1.7 million is way more than I would have ever thought. I mean, my unrealistic fantasy goal was 1 million when I started the channel, and since reaching that number in September of 2020, I have not even been paying much attention to it. If anything, looking back, I probably should have been more appreciative of the people that were already subscribed instead of placing so much value on attracting new ones, but I guess that's just how it goes when trying to build something like this. Today, as long as that number's in the positive, I am completely happy with it. Another important graph to reflect on is the number of views for the channel each year, and I have to say, I am not quite as happy about this one. Year 9 was the lowest year of the channel, down about 34% from the previous year, which was also a new low for the channel at the time. I mean, this is not a good graph, there's no way to spin this, but not entirely unexpected. It is hard to keep something going for such a long period of time. Anyone watching this who has been consistently working at something since 2017 or even longer can probably back me up when I say it can get exhausting. Thankfully, I don't need to average over 1 million views each week to feel good about what I'm doing here, but I would like to maintain a certain level. The only graph that truly upsets me is this one, videos that failed to reach 100,000 views, because I released over 350 weekly videos in a row that exceeded that number. There were a few that fell short in year 7 and 8, but suddenly in year 9, it's becoming an issue. And most of those are from the past few months. Some of them barely crossed 50,000 views. And look, I know that focusing on views like this can seem shallow because the views reflect the money and attention I'm getting, which is true, but they also reflect how much people care. Reading through the comment sections on most of those lower performing videos, I really get the impression that most people are simply not connected to or interested in what I'm talking about. And I hope I'm not giving the impression that I am ungrateful for the 64,000 people that watch my video comparing some of the top insurance companies, for example. I just don't feel good about how many people passed on watching that video, and I have to question how many of those 64,000 truly cared about what they were watching. And of course, we can theorize a million different reasons behind this issue, but my belief is that I'm choosing some bad topics. I mean, it can feel relentless trying to figure out a subject that will interest hundreds of thousands of people each week, especially when you have already covered so many of them. It is a process making these videos, and it can be demotivating trying to restart that process for the, 477th time when I'm worried that most people won't care about the end result. Like this week, for example, when Spirit Airlines shut down, I knew people would be interested in hearing about it, so I was excited to make that video and even release it on a Friday as soon as it was done. But that is not the case most of the time anymore. Putting out a new video every week has led me to some hidden gems that I probably would have never found otherwise, but it has also led me to some topics that may not have been worth the effort. And as you can see, that second one is becoming more and more common, to a point where I have to question if the weekly schedule is becoming impractical. However, I do have a few videos already completed, like the one I'm releasing tomorrow that I've been holding on to since 2021. I have some topics planned out that feel promising, like maybe MySpace for video number 500 that is coming up later this year, if you can believe it. And stopping at year 9 would be like that Slinky stopping on the final step in Ace Ventura. Year 10 just feels so much more complete, doesn't it? I am really hoping that I make something over the next year that will lead to new ideas or send the channel in a better direction, but if the graphs continue on with this trend, as much as I hate to say it, that might be a natural point to stop with the weekly uploads. Maybe just start releasing videos when it makes sense, you know, when there's a bankruptcy or acquisition or something to spark the motivation. I apologize if any of this makes it feel less like a celebration, but I use these anniversary videos as an opportunity to update everyone on the present and potential future of the channel. I don't exactly like making graphs that show declining views and then sharing them with everybody. It's embarrassing, but I think it's important to be transparent here and keep everyone informed on what I've been feeling behind the scenes. If you have any questions about any of it or anything to add, please leave them in the comments and I will do my best to respond to them. Now, for the rest of the video, getting back into celebration mode, I made a post celebrating this milestone and soliciting some viewer questions that I could potentially answer in this video, so here are some of the ones that stood out to me. Okay, for me right now, the top comment says, do a video of the rise of Company Man, which is really not even a question, but I definitely read a lot of comments like this. I don't plan on ever making exactly that video, but if you look back at my year 5 anniversary, it's pretty close to it. Outside of that, if anyone else wants to make that video, you have my guarantee that I will be watching it. I think it would be really cool to hear about the channel like that from someone else's perspective. Okay, the next question is, would you ever consider making a video explaining how you would run any select business that is failing, as in you pick a business that isn't doing well, but instead of historical coverage, you opt to tell us how you would turn things around if you were in charge? My answer here is that it is difficult to run a successful business, and so much easier to talk about the past with accuracy over the future. I feel like I've gotten pretty good at identifying how a company has gotten to its current state with a level of confidence, but saying where they should go from there is a whole different story. Most of these large companies I talk about are led by experts with decades of experience that are being advised by other experts working around the company, and I am not arrogant enough to believe that I can do better than they are. Like I'm sure most of my viewers at this point, I can identify potential red flags or risky decisions, but in the context of these videos, I think there is a lot more value talking about more definite things from the past than there is speculating about the future. Here's another question. I've noticed that you've kept a very consistent voice and presentation style over the years, making refinements rather than total overhauls. How do you balance keeping up with the times and staying true to yourself and your style? Well, almost nothing about my voice and my presentation style is thought out or calculated. It's just me being myself, writing a script and editing it together in a way that feels natural. Early on, a lot of people criticized that I was talking too slow in the videos, which they may have had a point. I think I naturally talk kinda slow, so now when I record them, I make a point to pick up the pace. I think that's for the best. But that's about it. There have been other small adjustments as I learn new editing techniques or whatever, but I don't predict there will ever be a significant change. This question asks, if as an April Fool joke for some years, would you consider covering fictional companies? Honestly, I have never heard of any of those examples you provided. I'm sorry, the most common example people give is Dunder Mifflin from The Office, and I don't know, I feel like to do it right, that would turn out to be a massive project. I would have to watch through the entire series while taking notes, and I'm sure there would be a lot of gaps to try to fill in, so maybe down the line if I get motivated enough, but for now, I feel much more comfortable sticking, you know, to the real companies. Here's a question that made me think, what video made the biggest impact on your channel? Obviously, my first video about Kmart sparked the idea for the channel and attracted a small following early on. Toys R Us filing for bankruptcy a few months later, I hate to say it, but that was fortunate timing for the channel, and then the XFL returning a few months after that. There have been a lot of videos since that have led to new ideas and ways of approaching things, just kind of a natural evolution, I guess, but beyond that first year, I don't know if any single video has made much of an overall impact. But tell me if you disagree, and if you can think of any that stand out to you. This question asks about my favorite video from 2025. I would have to say that my favorite video from the past year is the one about Tootsie Roll Industries, that disappointingly is still struggling to reach 100,000 views. Maybe it's not the most attractive topic, but I stand by the fact that it is an impressive story with a lot of unique elements, plus you gotta love Mr. Owl. If you have been following this channel for a while and understand what I'm going for with it, you would like that video. This question asks, what made you choose produce this type of content? Were you inspired by a show or another creator, or just found a gap in the market at the time? The short answer is that Jax Films is probably the single biggest inspiration for me to want to make YouTube videos, and Bright Sun Films, specifically his video about Circuit City, helped me find this direction. I had gone to business school and never even considered applying any of it to YouTube before I saw his video. The next question, what has been your driving force to be consistent in videos, and what was the most difficult video you ever made? Just thinking back, the Lehman Brothers video stands out as one of the more difficult ones to make, just because it deals with some tricky financial concepts that can be hard to wrap your mind around and even more difficult to try to explain in a simple way. I think that might be the only video I gave up on and then ended up coming back to it a few months later. And as far as my driving force to be consistent in videos, I guess the reason has changed over time, but at this point, I don't even know for sure. Maybe it's just a habit or wanting to keep things going up until a certain point. I know I see a lot of comments from people saying how much they appreciate the reliability and look forward to Wednesdays, so I think a lot of it is just wanting to be there for these people. I know I'm not making a huge impact in any of their lives, but just being able to count on something can be comforting. Finally, why do you unlist the anniversary videos after release? It's interesting to look back on them. I envision these anniversary videos as being like a celebration between me and everyone else who has helped make the channel what it is. After a week or so, the party is over, so I unlist the video. Plus, I think there's something cool about having to be there at that time to have seen it. With that being said, if you save the links somewhere, you can still watch them whenever you want. They are just not on the channel anymore. Alright, that was 9 questions to celebrate 9 years of the Company Man YouTube channel. Let me know in the comments, well, I guess anything you have to say about the YouTube channel, past, present, or future. I promise I will be spending hours reading through absolutely everything you write and replying to a lot of it. Now, before I end the video, I want to be sure that I thank everybody one last time. A lot of channels do not make it this far, not at this level anyway, and none of it would have been possible without all of the support from so many people. It is important to me that you know that I know how fortunate I am, so to finish up the 9th year of the channel, all I have left to say is thank you for watching.